Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Today, I'm highlighting news from Barbados. The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados has expressed strong support for the Protection of Wages Bill following its recent passage in the House of Assembly. Speaking on behalf of the umbrella trade union body, CTUSAB, General Secretary Dennis DePisa welcomed the legislation as a necessary step towards safeguarding employees' financial rights. And of course, we are talking about the private sector in particular, but government as well. A lot of the times it's the government that takes advantage of employees more than anybody else. However, the union emphasized that the law's true success will depend heavily on robust enforcement mechanisms to ensure workers are treated fairly and protected from unfair employer practices. I remember telling you back in the 90s here in Trinidad and Tobago, even when it had the minimum wage law that was enforced, back then it was $7 an hour. A lot of supermarkets, especially a lot of other small businesses, but a lot of supermarkets didn't used to obey that law. Yeah, you wasn't getting you were not contributing with NIS, health surcharge, and you weren't being paid minimum wage either. To prevent workers from suffering prolonged financial hardship, CTUSAB is urging the government to establish strict, binding timelines for hearing wage-related disputes and cases. The PISA highlighted that delayed justice often leaves vulnerable workers without income for extended periods while administrative processes drag on. So true. The big men and them, the big men and women don't ever suffer, you know. Neither the politicians, it's the poor man. The union argues that setting clear legal deadlines for tribunals and labor boards to settle claims is essential to making the new protections meaningful and effective in practice. And then there must be consequences. People must stand serious consequences when they violate these laws, because it's people's lives they're dealing with. These businesses cannot operate without the common man, you know. That's what people fail to realize. A key concern raised by the labor leadership is the equal application of the law, with CTUSAB maintaining that the state itself must not be above compliance, just like how the police that's supposed to be above the law. You understand? Alrighty then. The PISA insisted that the government should not be exempt from financial penalties or interest charges in instances where public sector workers experience late wage payments. Like, you know how here in Trinidad and Tobago, the government always taking long to pay people? You know, like with the workers and them right now, the maintenance workers in Trinidad, you should pay them interest. That's what you should do, Khadija. I mean, union leaders contend that holding state agencies to the exact standards as private employers is vital for maintaining credibility and fairness across the national workforce. The passage of the bill represents a significant update to Barbados labor legislation, aiming to modernize payroll standards and prevent unauthorized deductions or withholding of pay. Trade union representatives plan to closely monitor the implementation phase as the measure moves through the remaining legislative channels. CTUSAB maintains that with rigorous enforcement, clear dispute timelines, and universal accountability, the legislation will serve as a powerful safeguard for worker security nationwide. I'm telling you, I have my issues with Mia Mottley as a prime minister. She tends to lean on the leftist side of politics and you know, she appears to be a globalist. But when it pertains to serving her people in Barbados, she's doing a really good job. We must admit that. She's doing a really good job, and maybe that's why people continue to vote for her in such overwhelming numbers. If you're from Barbados and you're viewing my news report, comment and tell me what you think.
The Congress identifies the views expressed by the Barbados Workers Union, the Barbados Employers Confederation, the Barbados Chamber of Commerce, and the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries on the upholding of fair and equitable treatment of employees. The Congress emphasizes that there must be enforcement of the provisions of the legislation. I repeat that. There must be enforcement of the legislation. if this thing is to be taken seriously. If workers are to be treated fairly and are not to be disadvantaged, then it requires that we must ensure that the employers honor their obligation to the workers. So CIVISAD, against that backdrop, welcomes the penalties to be imposed on those employers who have failed to make the employer's national insurance payment and other authorized deductions. The Congress accepts that while the fines to be imposed may be seen as a deterrent, there must be a clear understanding that justice delayed is justice denied. And if you understand what I'm saying here, you can have situations where penalties are imposed, but yet those who should feel the brunt of the law don't ever feel that brunt. Somehow that fine is not paid, or if it's paid, sometimes it's when people are dead and gone. And as we have seen in many circumstances and other instances from time to time. Hence, this necessitates that clear time frames and deadlines are established within the rules for the hearing and concluding of any case brought by an employee against the employer. It should not be allowed that the victim experiences an extended period of suffering due to the slow enactment of the process. There's also the concern that where in the legislation, as it applies to the late payment of wages, salaries, or authorized deductions to be made from the pay of public officers, that the state accepts from the is not exempt, I should say, the state is not exempt from the enforcement of any legal penalty.
Trinidad and Tobago weather forecast for Wednesday, August 12, 2026. Wednesday, August 12, 2026 in Trinidad and Tobago will be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with scattered showers and a 30% to 40% chance of heavy showers or thunderstorms due to the passage of a tropical wave. Conditions start partly sunny with light rain developing by 8 a.m. The risk of heavy thunderstorms peaks between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. The weather will mostly settle into a partly cloudy night with a light breeze, though a few lingering showers remain possible. Winds may gust violently in or near heavy downpours. Street or flash flooding and landslips are possible in areas prone to them. Seas will be slight to moderate with waves running 1.0 to 1.5 meters in open waters and near 1.0 meter in sheltered areas. Waves may become occasionally choppy during nearby downpours and spring tides remain in effect. Psalm 35 1-4. O Lord, oppose those who oppose me, fight those who fight against me. Put on your armor, take up your shield, and prepare for battle. Lift up your spear and javelin against those who pursue me. Let me hear you say, I am your salvation. Bring shame and disgrace on those who are trying to kill me. Turn them back and humiliate those who plan my ruin.
O Lord, fight those who fight me. Take up your shield and spear. Protect me from my enemies, and say to my soul, I am your salvation. May the angel of the Lord pursue my enemies. May their hidden net catch them, and may they fall into their own pit of destruction.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news update. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe. Most of all, in Jesus' name.